What is up, guys? So, a lot of people are upset, I've noticed lately, about wondering, are the gods disappointing with me? Are they angry at me? How do the gods feel about me? So, we're going to talk about that today and hopefully relieve your mind a little bit of some worries you may have. So, what do the gods think of you? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, it's a dangerous thing when you're told that the gods don't have a good view of you. That's a psychological thing that you have to fight to recover from. So, what do the gods really think of us in our daily life, and how do they see humanity? I know we hear about the myths that tell how Zeus was angry, and Poseidon was angry, and so forth. So, there's a whole story and philosophy behind that, where myths are figurative, that they are telling lessons and teaching lessons. Granted, the view that I come from when it comes to my belief in the gods, it comes from a more of a Platonic view of things, as such as what Plato would believe, Platon, as I mentioned before, and of course, Sallustius. Philosophers that would see the gods as good, with no ill will or intention towards people. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, because I want people to know from the Platonic Sallustius view of the gods that the gods are good and they don't have any ill will towards anyone. And to hear that again, that they may be angry with someone, that is very damaging. So, what does Sallustius say about the gods? And then we'll talk a little bit more about that today. So, first off, I want to just talk about what are the gods? Who are the gods? In reality, if you're coming from the Platonic way of thinking. So what are the gods? So I won't read a whole book for you guys, but I'll just outline a couple of things I want to talk about. So Sallustius said that they ought also know, meaning the people, this common conception. Common conceptions are those to which all men agree as soon as they are asked. For instance, that all gods here, elsewhere, any kind of godhood or divine nature, all gods are good, free from passion, free from change. For whatever suffers change does so for the worse or better. If for the worse, it's made bad. But if for the better, it must have been bad at first. So what is that saying? So that is saying that the gods are free from passion, so they have no anger. They don't get angry. They don't get elatedly happy. They don't mainly have anger. So that's the thing you can take away from it, that they don't change. They're a constant thing. Because if they changed, then that means that there was something wrong with them in the beginning. So, like he said, that for the better, that means there must have been something wrong to begin with for them to have to change. Which connects to my next point. So it's all one big circle. You're going to see it's going to all connect. So Sallustius ends his writings with this, on talking about how the gods are free from change and passion and so forth, which answers the question, are the gods mad at me? Or are they disappointed with me? And so forth. So here's what he had to say. So if anyone thinks the doctrine of the unchangeableness of the gods is reasonable and true, and then wonders how is it that they rejoice in the good and reject the bad, how they're angry with the ones that do wrong and become propitious when appeased. The answer is as follows. Here it is. Gods do not rejoice, for that which rejoices also grieves, nor, that means nor, is he angered, for to be angry is to have passion, nor is he appeased by gifts. If he were, he would be conquered by pleasures. It is impious to suppose that the divine is affected for good or ill by human things. So it's very hubris to think that whatever we do affects the gods. So the gods are always good and always do good and never harm, being always in the same state and like themselves. The truth simply is that when we are good, we are joined to the gods by our likeness to live according to virtue. We cling to the gods. And when we become bad or evil, we make the gods our enemies. Not meaning literally. I'll talk about that in a second. Not because they are angered at us, but because our sins are the bad things we do, prevent the light of the gods from shining on us, and puts us in communion with the spirit of punishment, meaning you're going to start hating yourself. And if by prayers and sacrifices we find forgiveness of sins, we do not appease or change the gods, but by what we do, and by turning towards the divine healing of our own badness, and so enjoying the goodness of the gods. So to say that the gods turn away from evil is like saying the sun hides itself from the blind. So you are not making the gods angry. You are not disappointing the gods. That's why it's very toxic and dangerous if you think so, because you're mentally telling yourself that, and it's blocking you from receiving any kind of emotion from the gods. That's why it's a dangerous thing to say that the gods are disappointed in someone, because that is not true if you have that kind of view of the gods. And when you have that kind of view of the gods, you're free. And offerings and sacrifices are not appeasing the gods. We don't do that to make them happy. That's not why we give offerings and sacrifices on that. It's to align ourselves in the mindset, to be on the same mindset they are in, so that way we can sense them and feel them better. But if you have that negative opinion of yourself, it's going to be really hard to overcome it. So I can tell you the gods don't hate you. I can tell you the gods are not disappointed in you. I can tell you the gods love you. I can tell you this and that. But if you don't believe it, what is me saying that going to do? Because you're going to have that mental block, and maybe that's why you're not feeling anything, because you have something that's telling you that maybe you're not good enough as well. So it's a very dangerous thing. But Seleucus, someone that lived back then, Plato, Platon, they all had this way of thinking that the gods are good and they have nothing against you. And when you start thinking that way, you'll start feeling at peace, and you'll start being able to pray and thank the gods, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it. But you have to overcome it, what's inside. And that's the moral of the story. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this and find something of it. Because like I said, I can tell you, but you're going to have to believe it before it actually starts changing your life. And when it changes your life, you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. And life's going to be really, really good. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.